The following commercial was paid for by the Mark Foley for President in 2008 campaign.
Hi, I'm Michael Jackson, and I'd like to lend my support to Mark Foley for President of the United States. Mark understands the plutonic love a man can have for a young boy. And those are the qualities I want in my president. So vote Foley 2008. Your young boy couldn't be in better hands.
Welcome back to the show. You know, I don't know if it's my newly grown beard or the big spiky hair, but I've just been in an angry mood lately. And one of the poor people I've been taking this out on is our editor-in-chief over here, Colby Cady, who is also a blog master for his MySpace account, does several blogs a week. You should check out his MySpace. Right, Colbs?
No, don't.
No, really, you should. Anyways, Colby recently posted a blog about torture in America. And he, of course, was being unpatriotic and hates America because of this, right?
Oh, of course, you know, me, the hater.
Now, Colby, I want you to first of all, Colby, I want you to kind of break down the essence of your article.
Well, in layman's terms, basically what I was saying is torture as far as innocent people shouldn't really be condoned in the U.S. As far as taking people that they have no strict evidence on or transporting them to Guantanamo it should be something that is prohibited.
Something that's prohibited. But you're quite passionate about this. Here's my biggest problem with this. First of all, I agree with you. Normal people or innocent people should not be tortured. We should monitor this very closely. We should not just let the president or the government have free reign to torture whoever they want and just trust them. Now, why are you giving me that look?
I don't trust you.
Why don't you trust me?
I just don't trust you. You have ulterior motives, don't you?
I do not have ulterior motives, because here's where our misunderstanding comes. I agree with all of that. Where I get angry at, and not only your critique, but everybody else's critique in that, is that this insane idea that this is going to progress us into a dictatorship. That this is the first step in George Bush leading us to a 1984 Orwellistic society. That's where my problem lies in this. It's not the civil debate about torture. It's not the civil debate on whether we should torture or not. That's good. That's called a democracy. That's called free press. That's called free debate. That's fine. My problem is every nincompoop who seems to be writing about this has to put in some cheap Orwell reference, like George W. Bush is the first president in the history of America to allow torture to go on. Colbs?
Well, I would concur that he's not the first.
Right.
But the thing is, he is the present.
Right.
He is the present president, and most people are going to be more, I don't know, they're going to judge him more quickly right now.
But that's the problem. We need perspective on this. Mm-hmm. The thing about this democracy that works for the last 200 years, it's a growing democracy. It wasn't perfect when it started. It sure as hell is not perfect now. But progressively, we're getting better and better and better. What has angered me about this war is these people who have never lived in a country of true oppression, who've never lived in a country where real dictatorships exist, trying to pretend like the changes that have been going on now, or the things that have been going on now, are some sort of degression into a dictatorship. If we've always had torture, if every president has had a little bit of torture or implemented some torture, all that means is it's time for our democracy to progress, which means our democracy isn't digressing. The Civil Rights Act was a part of our democracy progressing. But for many, many, many years, we had slavery, we had unequal rights to minorities. We had a lot of things going on in this democracy. Mm-hmm. And we kept a positive framework. We didn't do this cynical Orwellistic, oh, we're all going down to a dictatorship. We just kept progressing. We used the advantages of what America was, and we made it a better place. I don't see that in this argument about torture. I see a lot of people jumping to conclusions they shouldn't jump to, taking a very cynical outlook, and this is coming from a cynic, and just applying it on there. And I don't see that how that helps the debate.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't really.
It doesn't.
I can agree with you there. Okay. I can fully understand what you're saying. But what you did mention a little further back in that, though,
yes,
what I find funny is the people don't live in under a dictatorship, and they don't know what it's like.
Right.
I can understand that's true.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the people who were, as far as Iraq, let's per se,
yes,
okay, if they were so happy with the U.S. influence that is over there right now, why would a large portion of them want to overthrow the government that was just elected?
Well, first of all, the large portion of them does not want to overthrow. The Ba'athist regime and Al-Qaeda, who have not been our friends in the first place, want to overthrow us. Now, the Baathists have every reason why they want to overthrow us. That's simply because they were in charge already. So they didn't really like the idea of us coming in. This is the greatest myth that the left has been showing here. This is not a bunch of freedom fighters who are all of a sudden read, I don't know, All's Quiet on the Western Front and getting inspired. This is a mafioso, Ba'athist thugs, Islamo-fascist terrorists who are counter-striking this. This is not the good people of Iraq. Now, I'm not going to tell you right now, condescendingly sit here and tell you that everybody in Iraq is doing handstands that the American government's in there. I have not been over there to tell you that. But I do not believe for a second that they were so happy with Saddam Hussein, or they were just complacent enough with Saddam Hussein's mad regime that they wouldn't do anything about it. But boy, when America came in, they're going to go guns a-blazing as a revolution. That's condescending. That's condescending to the Iraqi people.
But that's not exactly what I'm referring to. What I'm referring to exactly is the plans that were drawn out that they actually located, which we're talking about overthrowing the Iraqi government, the newly elected Iraqi government. I'm not actually talking about overthrowing the U.S., but the elected Iraqi government.
Right. There is a Ba'athist regime. There's a regime who does not like the fact that Iraq was taken over. There was a regime that was quite happy with how things were. There were the Baathists, who were the minority tribe, had control of the entire region. They implemented fear and terror to keep everybody in line. They pretty much had to go with whatever they could do. Saddam's sons could murder how many women they like on a weekly basis because they're Saddam's son. And they got free reign. That was a great gig for them. And when we came in, we ruined it for them. And now they're pissed off and they're trying to get back at us. The Al-Qaeda Islamo-fascists that are over there don't like us over there because of the whole entire, war we're having with them anyway, so they're going to do everything they can. Listen, the best way to win a war when you can't beat them with manpower is by digging in, getting the other side to start losing faith in the war, and staying there long enough until we leave. That is what they're trying to do. That's what this disinformation campaign that they're doing is doing. Unfortunately, our media helps them out a lot because they never liked the idea of us going in that war in the first place. But that's how they're doing it.